Technology permeates our daily lives. It is always important to think about what technology should do instead of what it can do. I'm Richard Koh, and welcome to our Tech 101 with our technology strategists. Welcome to Tech 101 with our technology strategists. My name is Richard Koh, and in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about cybersecurity. It's certainly top of mind for a lot of our customers and partners. So today on the show, we have with us our guest, Desmond Tan. Desmond, welcome.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for having me.
And we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. It's certainly a very top of mind matter for a lot of our customers and partners. So what do you have for us today?
Right. So just like what you mentioned, right, cybersecurity has been kind of the top topic for all the C-levels. And in my role, my day-to-day job, really engaging with the C-level to understand their business challenges, and more so in the recent days, about where cybersecurity place is really standing at the moment. Okay. How is it actually moving from a trend perspective? Okay. And I guess being an enterprise ourselves, we watch this space a lot with the evolution, and absolutely. It's not hard to actually realize that the evolution is actually not just in terms of the sheer volume of attacks that we are seeing today, but also in terms of the sophistication of attacks, right? And the biggest challenge that I'm seeing for most of my customers is how do they actually keep up with this pace rather than a rat race chasing after the attack kind of defense strategy. Okay. So I guess where I really want to touch on today is how can we, Microsoft, be helping? What are some features that actually come packed with Microsoft 365 that we help the security operations team to be on top of their game, and also to be able to address the trillions of threat signals they are receiving on a daily basis, and how do they really come up with very insightful, actionable information from there to aid them in the defense strategy. Okay,
so before we came on the show, we were just chatting, right? Yeah. There was like kind of two things that you mentioned to me. One was around signature-based approach, and the other one was just the amount of deluge of signals that security operations centers have been receiving. Maybe just touch on a little bit on those two items.
Sure. So when we were looking at kind of defense strategy from a cybersecurity standpoint, right? If you look at how digital transformation actually helped us to actually be more productive, the flip side of that was that it actually increased the attack surface, and it gave more avenue for the bad actors to actually, attack us. With that, right, the traditional way of border defense, signature-based, whereby when the zero patient was being identified, and how do we update on a global basis so that everybody is protected, that is not up to the game from a speed perspective. Signature-based on traditional will take at least 2 to 4 weeks to be really updated. If let's say we go with the traditional antivirus, anti-malware kind of approach, but that will also mean you have about 2 to 4 weeks of exposure from that perspective.
That's true.
So from an organization, especially for big enterprises, they need a solution that is ever changing, transforming as fast as the attacks is to actually help protect them. But this kind of lead to a second problem. With all this sophistication of attack, we start to see more defense around, and of course, we can safely say most organizations might be able to block off 90 to 98% of the attacks. But what this also means is that there will be 90 to 98% of signals that the SOC team or the security operation team is actually receiving on a daily basis.
I see.
So now the question is, how do you sieve out this 98% and understand that this is just a trend that you see that your defense is really working, versus how do you pick up that 2% that is really crucial, and how do you get the actionable information at the fastest way possible if let's say there's a breach in that sense.
Got it. So the way I think about it, if I was to kind of sum it up, is that first one is really the speed is the name of the game. Yeah. Right. And the second one is how do you think about the deluge of signals, and then really teasing out the signals from the noise.
Exactly.
In security operations sectors itself. Okay, so I heard you got a demo for us today in Office 365 security and compliance. So, tell us a little bit more about that one.
Yep. So as part of Microsoft 365 Suite,
Mm-hmm.
it comes with packs of, really packed full load of security features, if I have to put
Okay.
it. These features that I'm not going to talk about is not really a product, but features.
Mhm.
It's what we call the Zeroday Auto Purge. In short, we call it ZAP.
Zap. Okay, that's a cute
So
name.
what it does is, we do understand that, malware, malicious email get blocked a lot of time
Okay.
in junk mail and everything. There are times whereby even with the most advanced defense,
Mhm.
the email actually gets slipped through.
Mm.
And some of the reason could be because the email only get weaponized upon delivery.
So this is Zeroday. It's a
Zeroday.
fresh malware
Yeah.
that nobody has seen in a while before.
Right.
Okay.
So where ZAP comes in is if let's say there is a zero-day attack, it went into an inbox, of the users. How can ZAP be monitoring the signature on real time whenever there's a new detonation?
Okay.
Right? And how does it actually help protecting user by removing the malicious email from the mailbox?
Okay.
Without
in the shortest amount of time.
exactly without intervention of the admins and stuff.
Mm.
So that kind of addresses the speed. At the same time, at the back end of it, what ZAP does is that upon a removal of email, they actually trigger an auto investigation that gives the SOC team a full view of the attack.
Mm.
How did it happen? Who is actually being involved? And what are the recommended steps that the system is actually providing for the admin? So in order for them to implement that, it's just a few clicks away.
Mm.
And we are talking about this from a speed perspective as compared to the traditional way of when such things happen, going to the log, find who is affected, informing the user, removing from their mailbox. There's a vast difference from minutes to hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're really, really reducing the risk of exposure, the
Yep.
time of exposure as well. So this sounds like a really exciting demo. Shall we get to it?
Sure.
Let's go.
So for this demo, I have drafted an email attached with a zero-day malware, like what you see down here. So I will be sending this to several users to simulate an attack campaign on an organization. Alright, let's send this. Well, spam and malware signatures are updated in the service real-time daily. However, users can still receive malicious messages for a variety of reasons, including if content is weaponized after being delivered to the users. In this campaign, Alex's mailbox is one of my targets, and because it's a zero-day malware, we should expect the malicious message to actually land in his inbox, and indeed that's what we actually see. Since there's no signature, it should land there. So as part of my campaign, I'm planning to do a second wave. So I'm using the same email content, I'm using the same zero-day malware, and this time around just different recipient within the same organization. So let me do this, and I'm going to target on Megan's mailbox now, and let's send it over and let's see what happened. Send. Right. Now let's take a look at Megan's mailbox. Looking through the inbox, we notice something different. The malicious messages actually did not land in the inbox, unlike Alex. But what we notice is that the mail actually landed in junk mail instead. This is because Megan's mailbox is being protected with safe attachment features. A safe attachment uses virtual environment to check attachment in email messages before they are delivered to the recipient, and this process is known as detonation. With the successful detonation of the malware, this actually gets delivered to the junk mail instead of the inbox. And of course, at the background, the signature of this malware is being captured and updated to the service in the real time. Well, it's all good for Megan right now. But what about Alex? We can still see that the malicious message is still in his inbox. Well, ZAP addresses this issue by continuously monitor updates to the spam and malware signatures in the service. When the new malware signatures gets updated, ZAP can find and remove messages that are already in user's mailbox. Let's take a look at ZAP in action from the Security and Compliance portal. If we navigate under Alert tab, and let's go to View Alert, give it a couple of seconds to load, we can actually see that there is an alert that's being generated from the recent attack. And of course, from the title of it, we can see that the malicious messages are already being removed after delivery, meaning to say, the users that has been affected, the malicious messages has been removed. So this action of Z is actually seamless to the user. They unnotify if a message is detected and moved. So administrators do have the options to notify user with a click of a button. So with that, let's take a look at Alex mailbox. Well, we can clearly see that it's no longer, the malicious messages is no longer here. Well, that's not all. Investigation has been triggered automatically with the alert. So now let's take a look at that. Let me close this and let's navigate over to Threat Management and under Investigation. Well, this is the investigation that has been triggered, and let's click in to see more details. Once it's finished loading, you will be presented with an investigation graph that gives you a full glance on what have actually happened. In this view, I can see that there has been there are 6 action items that is being recommended to me. One user that's being under investigation. In the email that is being investigated, there are spam, there are malware, and there are 5 users who have received this. Now let me take a look at the action item. So here are the 6 action items that's being recommended to me. And as an administrator, if I want to actually implement this, it is just a click of a button. Are we sure? Let's confirm this. And that's it. Once you approve this, the system will actually implement this action for you, and you're done.
Wow, Desmond, that was a great demo. For a visual person like me, the investigation graph is really, really useful. I see that the whole kind of play out of the attack itself. And what's really interesting was that action tab. Can you compare it to how previously it was done, and then now with this action tab, how has it helped our customers?
Right. So the traditional way, without such a tool, without a ZAP, what happened is that the security operation team really need to go through logs. And when we talk about logs, it's just lines and lines of signals, and kind of picture this within their brain. And if let's say we're talking about a big SOC team that's working together, the question is, how do we collaborate? How do I make sure that what I have in mind in terms of the visual is the same as you, right? And at the same time, how can traditionally, when they have it in their mind, they might miss details, which will lead to the actions that you see in action tabs.
That's
right?
true.
Versus to this, what we are looking at is you have a very good visual. It gave you a recommendation from an AI perspective, and you can kind of correlate to say, yes, this is exactly what I think we need to do, and with just a click of button, you can actually implement that. Traditionally, if you really want to implement any actions that you're talking about, again, going back to a log, going back to a system, reaching out to the user. So there's a lot of interference, there's a lot of anxiety that's being caused within the organization, especially if, let's say, it's a large campaign that we're talking about, calling user, please avoid this, or even for CEO to send an email to inform user to avoid this email.
Got it.
It's very catastrophic.
Okay, this is really cool. I think it really helps the security team to really be speedily, addressing some of these challenges that they have. So that's great. So where can our customers and partners learn more about this?
Sure. So if you'd like to learn more, just feel free to go to the link below. There's a lot of details and then even demos that you can just take a look. Feel free to actually go there.
Okay. Thank you, Desmond. This is really great. This is really great. So folks, there you have it. Cybersecurity is a very, very big topic. So you know what, Desmond, I would love for you to come back on another time, because there are many areas that we want to talk about in this area. So hopefully you'll come back again.
Sure, happy to.
Okay, that's great. So thank you folks again for spending time with us. I hope you have enjoyed this segment of Tech 101 with our technology strategists, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.